Lunid has given me a ton of tips about my morning routine, from hydrating early in the morning, which has been really beneficial to me, to taking cold showers, to reading, to doing a gratitude journal, affirmations. I have gotten a ton of knowledge. The changes that I've gotten from Lunid have amazingly impacted my life. I've been profoundly impacted in both the amount of energy that I have in the morning that leads throughout the rest of the day, as well as the productivity that I've gotten throughout the day. So I noticed that now that I've been more purposeful in waking up early and getting down a consistent morning routine, I've noticed that I'm able to get more done throughout the day. So whether it's getting a workout early in the morning, which then leads to me having more energy in the morning, and then leading to just more work being able to be done throughout the day, to hydrating, like I mentioned, to making sure that I read early in the morning, doing those positive affirmations. All of those have really positively impacted my life, and I've seen that in my business results as well. I would absolutely recommend Lunid's Best Morning Routine and her HitSavers app as well. I'm already constantly immersed in it, and so I have seen tons of positive benefits from it, and so I would recommend it for anyone. You don't just have to be an entrepreneur. You can be someone who's just trying to get ahead in life, whether that's in a 9-to-5 job or as a student or something of that nature. And so her content have been extremely beneficial for me, and I would recommend it to anyone who is kind of just tired of the status quo and wants to do better and knows that there's more for them, but doesn't necessarily have that structure or have the knowledge to take the steps to get better, but they know they want to get better. Someone who's motivated, but maybe just doesn't have the right outline. And so Lunid, she really gives you that outline and gives you that content really to take those steps to get better. So I'd absolutely recommend it for anyone who wants to get better in life.
Hello everybody, I'm Charlotte from Belgium. Yes, also me. I'm listening to Lunid. I learned to write down my goals, so now I write down my goals. I don't only have them in my head. Writing them down really helped me a lot. I also wrote down what I'm able to give up to achieve my goals, and that's one of the best things I learned. Except that I also go to the gym really early before going to work. She learned me that, and it helps me, my productivity. I'm really more concentrated. My dynamics during the day are way better. And that's not all. She really learned me to be grateful for a lot of things. And I think being grateful changed my whole mindset, changed my whole life. And so I want to thank her for that.
Lunid talks about a lot of great tips, but the two most that appeal to me are hydrating yourself in the morning and giving yourself some time to reflect. I can tell you that since the time I have started following these two tips, it has made my day more efficient and it makes me more alert in the morning. I couldn't agree more that hydrating yourself first thing in the morning actually clears in all the toxins that have been accumulating on your system all night, and it just makes you alert right away. The other thing about giving yourself some time to reflect on your day gives you a broader perspective as to what needs to be done, what to prioritize, how to tackle the tough issues, how can you make time to do some certain things in future. So definitely, thank you, Lunid.
It's amazing. I have so much more energy. I had problems exercising because I was so heavy, as you know. It was difficult to walk, and I went from having real problems walking to now I've got a dog which I walk for 2 hours every day. I'm swimming. I upped my swimming to 3 times a week, so I've got so much more energy for everything. Walking, finding places to walk every day, in the mornings, in the evenings, it's just been such an amazing change, and I have so much thanks to you for that session that we did. It was fantastic. Yeah, I had a pretty traumatic childhood, I have to say. Punishment and hating myself for something that happened when I was 4, that I believed that I was responsible for the death of my sister, which I wasn't, and you uncovered that. I'd been sexually abused as a child, and I felt filthy and dirty, and I always hated myself. So one of the things that your session uncovered for me was it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. The things that happened to me weren't my fault. And one other thing I wanted to say is that one of the reasons I came to you initially was I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in August last year. It's been reversed. So it's priceless. How can you put a price on regaining your life? I mean, seriously, a year and a bit ago, I couldn't see any future in my life. I just couldn't. I was like getting heavier and heavier, and life was getting really depressing because I had always been an active child, but I just couldn't see any future to what on earth is my life becoming? I'm slowly becoming like an 8-year-old in my 50s, and I couldn't walk, couldn't do normal things. Yeah, pretty life-changing, transformational.
Some tips that Lunid has given you about your morning routine. So I've chosen 3 methods in regards to a better morning routine. 1 is positive affirmation, 2 is morning routine, a more structured one, and 3, positive habits. So for positive affirmations, I know folks usually have phrases. I don't really have any phrases. What I use instead is whenever I have a negative thought, I'm tired, or I really don't want to go to work, or oh my God, it's Monday, I usually just flip it and make it a positive thing. Like, okay, I have a job, I get it done, I'm gonna crush today. Girl, get up, you look good, things like that, in order to just put my mind at a more positive thought frame, so I would be able to just get up and get things done. On top of getting up and get things done, I've developed a more structured morning routine. So that includes getting up 10-15 minutes earlier than what I usually get up. The time that I was usually 6 o'clock, I would try to cram everything in an hour, and that was not working, not sufficient at all. So I wake up between 5:30, 5:45, lay there a little bit just to get myself to wake up, because again, I am not a morning person. Positive habits is packing my breakfast and lunch. So waking up earlier has been truly efficient because I'm able to have the time to think about what I want to eat if I didn't do it the night before, and pack it up and have it ready while I finish getting dressed. So that's been quite helpful, and waking up earlier also allows me to get to work even earlier, which allows me to then have the 10-15 extra minutes to prepare myself for the workday. How are these changes impacting your life positively? I'm able to get a lot more done. I've even taken on creating new projects for myself in order for me to work more efficiently at work. Because of that, I've been able to get more projects. I've been trusted with helping out a little bit more in the office. They've been offering me a little bit more overtime, a little bit more money. So that's been really, really good. Would you recommend Lunid's best morning routine to others, and why? Yes, and I have already, because it's an awesome morning routine. I even started reading again because Lunid was saying that she reads a lot, and she's been able to read a lot more books because of audiobook, which I recently subscribed to. So it's been very, very impactful. There's a lot of things that I thought that I knew that I had to relearn, that I had to learn new things in order to better myself. So I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, she's great. She's awesome. I'll continue to recommend her to friends and coworkers.
The morning routine by Lunid. Well, for starters, full of content, full of information that could help you on your journey to wherever it is that you're heading, which is success. One thing I've learned from it, a little hack I've learned, was simple things. It's really the simple things that do the most, as a glass of water as soon as you wake up in the morning, and also making your bed. Making your bed is my favorite because that's a small task most people tend to ignore throughout their day. And if you can do something as little as making your bed, you accomplished something. So the fact that you started your day off with an accomplishment is going to spark that fuse in you to want to accomplish something else, and so on. Now, would I recommend it? Heck yeah, I do all the time. Every chance I get. Good. It's a powerful resource. You need stuff like that on your journey. It's difficult when you know where you want to be, but you don't know how to get there. Love it. Love it. Best morning routine, baby. Woo!
I am a friend of Luniz, who, if you didn't know already, is the creator of the best morning routine ever. Luniz is just trying to help people with their morning routines, strengthen their success throughout the day and throughout their life. It's beautifully simple. And me being someone who needs simple, it's beautiful. It's an easy walkthrough. It tells you what you need to do in the morning, and it gives you the extra steps. And if you did want more content, it's a very good price. And it's really helped me so far. Like I said, Lunid is very passionate about the people she works with and about helping people in the morning. So I really recommend you get this. It just beautifully sums up the things that can help you in your morning.
So I was at a point in my life where it seems like everything was upside down, and I was like, man, I need to speak to someone. Like, at what point do you feel like you need to seek out and ask for help? And she came at the right time. I probably still would have been in this dark hole trying to figure myself out had I not reached out the time I did. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say 10 being, it was a great experience because I was able to dig back into my childhood and see why I was feeling the way I was feeling. And it was powerful, when you dig back in your past to be able to be like, if I am the way I am right now, it's because of something in the past. And sometimes we need that person to help us to go back and look and see, why are you the way that you are? Why are things in your life the way that they are? Until you find someone who can help you, to do it the right way, to go back into the past and dig and get information and speak to your inner self. And that's what that session was. And it was a very powerful. So the childhood trauma, and she was able to help me to rewire myself, my thinking, the way I think, the way I see myself. Sometimes, we forget to pick ourselves up. But then, when somebody reminds you of like how much of a great person you are, and you actually hearing yourself saying to yourself, like, you are a great person. You're not so bad. Everybody makes mistakes. Stop being so hard on yourself. With that session, like, I discovered a lot of things, and it makes me feel happy. It makes me feel good to know that, I'm getting everything back to normal, to how they were. The session with her was able to rewire my mind the way that it needs to be wired for me to focus on what is important. And I will tell you, it is amazing. It's amazing.
I'm originally from Los Angeles. I grew up in dance and musical theater. Performing was my life, and that led me to Las Vegas at 24 years old to audition for the shows. And I decided it was time for a real job, which is so funny because I chose real estate. And I built my real estate business and woke up a few years later and completely was miserable and burned out. Yes, money is great, but I'm not fulfilled. I'm not happy. And that led me on a personal development journey of actually trying to figure out what was wrong with me, because I knew I could have been doing so much more. And I was like, it kind of caused me to go internal and, what's wrong with me? Why am I not good enough? Am I good enough for this? What am I doing? A lot of those doubts and limiting beliefs started to kind of take over. So I went, had different coaches and went to different seminars and different events. And my whole thing is, if you've ever, gone somewhere and you've walked on fire, you've broken through a board and you're like, I'm so invincible and I can do anything. But I would still be depressed on Monday and have anxiety. And I know I can do these cool things, but like, what is going on?
Although you were so successful and already thriving, but something was holding you back from achieving your bigger goals, from adding value, it sounds like, right? So tell us about that process of digging in and actually finding the root cause and what the value was.
The breakthrough session, which is a deep dive into figuring out, I love that you said it, it's figuring out the root cause and figuring out what is that greater problem that is literally manifesting and causing everything going on in your life.
Right.
And it usually comes down to self-worth. It usually comes down to not feeling worthy, not feeling good enough, not feeling lovable. And sure enough, that's what came up for me, was that constant feeling of not being good enough and not believing that I was smart enough, good enough, worthy to actually achieve anything. Like, who am I to actually do these things? What do I even know? It's been running my life without me even knowing it. And why we self-sabotage, because you have to prove yourself right. If I don't believe I'm worthy, I will literally prove that I am not worthy, and I will self-sabotage, and I will hold myself back, and I will create this reality that shows me, told you you're not good enough, told you you couldn't do it. And so without going there, without doing the inner work, without actually digging to figure out the root problem and doing something about it, you're going to repeat the same patterns over and over and over.
So toxic. What was some of the self-sabotaging behaviors that you saw?
I'd say for me, I am very hard on myself, and it would come up in the self-talk, in the doubt, in the my conversation with myself, which was very nasty. So I would say it was, you know better, like, what's wrong with you? You know what to do, why aren't you doing it? Clearly you're lazy, like, you need more discipline, maybe you need more accountability. If you really wanted it, you would have it already. So clearly you don't really want this. Like, it's just that constant voice in my head that was like driving me insane. Yeah, so the self-sabotage was kind of like, well, maybe I'm more of like a runaway. Like, well, maybe I don't really want this. You know what? Maybe I'll come up with something else. Like, I don't really need to do this. You know, I'm happy like living a simple life. I don't really need these crazy goals that I've set. I would say the biggest piece is we are hardwired and programmed to focus on the negative and what we don't want. And I think a big aha for me was switching your brain to actually focus on what you do want. And it sounds so simple, but a lot of times we don't know what that is. We don't actually take the time to say, like, well, this is what I want. It's unlocking that like potential within you, because when you light that up and when you figure it out and when you find it, but like, it's empowering you into action. It's clearing that up so you can just go make happen whatever it is that you desire, because you are capable.
Yeah.
It's just the other clouded stuff that gets in the way. And I'm not kidding, within 30 days that program, I started my business, got my LLC, taught my first class, and had my first paying client within 30 days. And it was like, what was I waiting for? There was nothing changed. It reminded me that it was like, we are the ones holding ourselves back. And sometimes you need someone to help you point it out and get your blind spots and go.
Why isn't psychotherapy working?
I think that a lot of times we are focused on the surface. We are focused on the symptoms. We are focused on how are you feeling right now? What do we need to make that go away? Kind of like a Band-Aid. Or it's very, to me, there is a place for talk therapy and traditional methods, but sometimes I find that it is such a deeper, like you said, imprint and programming, that we are running this program. We are literally running this pattern over and over and over again. So you can talk about it all you want, but consciously, that's not where you're going to change it.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's another layer when you get into the unconscious, that actually reprogramming it so that you can run a better strategy. You can come up with a different way of being.
I was lacking in confidence.
Wasn't really trusting in my decisions.
I had so much fear and I just could not be the most authentic version of myself.
I had so many blocks in my money mindset and self-belief, and I was always dabbling in things.
So I was feeling kind of stuck and just wondering like what my life purpose was. What was I supposed to do with my life?
Just couldn't figure out why I wake up every morning and I am not feeling fulfilled, and just something was missing.
I lost everything that gave me any sort of certainty. My home, my career, all my material possessions. Had a massive event transpire that truly changed me, and it was changing me for the worse.
And I was scared and I was afraid, and I was just alive, but I wasn't living.
I feel like I deposited so much old luggage, and I feel it's so freeing. It's almost as if I feel my wings again to fly. I see opportunities again.
My heart that was shattered in so many pieces that I never dreamed I could recover, are actually starting to make their way back home again.
I have so much more confident in taking action, confident in making decisions, doing the thing that I knew that I need to do.
It made me aware of my limiting beliefs and my past traumas, and it made me hit them head on.
I can promise you, you are going to see such radical changes in your life. You will not recognize who you are anymore. You will be a completely different person.
I see a big change in myself. My friends see it, my family sees it.
What I was before and what I'm presently doing, there's a huge difference.
It was the complete turning point for me in my life, where I started believing in my worth.
And not only that I benefited from it on a humongous level, it's my husband, it's my children and people around me.
You only need 9 minutes to eradicate your ants, your automated negative thoughts, to boost your energy, to step into your purpose and become more productive. How? By hacking your morning routine like Michelle Obama, Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, Warren Buffett, and Kylie Jenner does every single day. They wake up at the same time every morning to repeat the same set of habits. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. Michelle Obama wakes up every morning at 4:30 a.m. to exercise, Warren Buffett to read, Oprah Winfrey to write in her gratitude journal, Tony Robbins and Kylie Jenner to meditate. What's the first thing you did when you woke up this morning? Many of us hit snooze 25 times, followed by 15 minutes of lying in bed, scrolling through social media. What if you woke up and worked on yourself for 9 minutes each day? How would the quality of your day, your life, improve?